So I'm feeling really good right now, yeah. I'm feeling great. I just like this fan. It's just so beautiful. I might take it to my workplace if I go back to my workplace. So I've had a re-epiphany. It's not like I haven't experienced this feeling before, because I definitely have. And I've been in this place before, right? This place where I am being pulled. I'm being pulled in a different direction, yo. Oh, let me burn me some incense. But I'm being pulled in a different direction. And it feels so good. Like, you know how they say follow your heart? Mm. 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 And I feel like we don't listen to our heart enough, right? We don't follow our heart enough. We follow a program, right? We follow what we think we should do based on what the program tells us what to do, right? And it gets, life is so much better when you follow your heart. You follow the spirit within you. So I was just inspired once again by this film that I just saw in Brooklyn. It was an Afro-futurism film at the BAM. And I'm like, the epiphany came to me again. I have a lot of epiphanies, first of all, right? But the epiphany came to me once again as I was sitting in the theater and I'm watching this film, and it's so powerful, yo. It's so powerful. It has a very unique name. You guys want to know what film I'm talking about, just check out my last video that I uploaded here. But I'm like, wow, it's perfect timing. The film, like, I resonate so much with what the film is talking about, right? In the message. And even though the category is Afrofuturism, it's very much present day. I say ironic though. I say ironic that they call this futurism, Afrofuturism, but no, we're living in those times. Wow. And it dawned on me, it's just like, me seeing this film is happening at the perfect time. Like everything, that's how you know, like, everything is perfectly aligned and the universe got your back, because you get a feeling inside of confirmation, yo. And this epiphany is telling me, like, I am divinely aligned. It's time. Now is my freaking time, yo. And I followed my spirit. I followed my heart, because I had this encounter today at my workplace where, first of all, before I get there, I am guided. And I follow, like I said, I follow my heart. I follow my spirit. I'm guided. And through me being guided, I arrived late, according to what they said. But there's no such thing as arriving late. Everything happens in divine timing. And that's what they fail to realize. Everything that has happened was supposed to happen. Okay? Just the way it happened. So many different angles that I can approach this epiphany and this most recent experience that I had and I'm having, right? So one way to look at it is, yes, it's time. It's time for me to unplug. And I know that is happening because I feel good about it, yo. Like some people, they're afraid. They have fear. They're driven by fear. They're afraid to step away from their comfort zone, from the familiar. They get stuck in a routine and they wonder why they can never have and experience a different reality than what they have, because they get stuck in the monotony of waking up every day, going to a job that don't give two shits about them. Point blank, period. I know myself, I know the spirit that resides in me, and it just won't be silenced. And it doesn't mesh well with certain environments, right? And so I think that's what's happening, because it's like, okay, on one hand, I just finished a very rigorous PhD program in clinical psychology. On that same hand, I'm working towards my licensure hours, right? And I'm near halfway finished. And I'm scheduled to take my licensure exam at the end of this year. But then on the other hand, it's just like, whoa, wait a minute. Why? Why are you playing this game, Danielle? Where are you? Okay, you play the game to survive, one may say. You play the game to be accepted, to fit in. But meanwhile, the game is playing you. Right? It's like we play this game of participating in society, in this world, right? In this reality that has been tainted. Is a fictional reality when you think about it. We trick ourselves into participating in this thing that doesn't really serve us, right? Especially when you come to a higher sense of self and a higher awakening. And I'm like, no, this isn't for me. I've been getting that whisper, that message ringing in my ear for the longest. Like, this is not for me. Why? But I'm like, I'm coming from the perspective of, okay, when I start something, I like to finish it, right? And to know that I can achieve whatever I set my mind to. Of course, I can beat the odds, right? But at the same time, it's just like, at what expense? At what expense? What am I compromising? And so when I tell you that I felt so relieved, I felt so empowered, like, yo, I'm sitting there in a theater, and even before I got to the theater, like, I'm at such a place of peace, yo. I can't even put it into words. I'm stumbling right now, but I'm at peace. So much peace that from the outside looking in, it may not make sense. It's just like, damn, this girl is insane. You know, you think of the people who have all this success for them, right? Everything is lined up. Their ducks are in a row. They have everything. They have things that people aspire to have. But then these same people who have all of these material possessions, right, and this honor and accolade based on societal standards, they walk away from it. They say, nah, I'm leaving this. And I definitely feel like I'm at that point. I've been there before and I've done it before. That's the funny thing, yo. So for you guys that follow my journey and you pay attention, you see that, yes, I started writing my autobiography, American Dreamer, back in 2009. I was supposed to release it in 2010, but the universe said, wait, right? For a person to write a book about their life, talking about 2009. So how many years ago was 2009? That's what, 13 years ago? 13 years ago. I was 25. For a person to write a book about their life at 25, someone said to me, right, when they found out that I wrote a book at that time, at that age, they're like, girl, you ain't even lived yet. I haven't. But that's their perspective though, right? Because they hadn't lived, right? We're on different timelines. We're on different paths. So, yes, it may not make sense to the average person why a person under the age of 30 will write a book thinking that I haven't lived. But I have lived. I've experienced a great deal. And I think it is time, yo. I've been procrastinating. I've been putting it off. I'm like, no, I'm not going to release this book. I'm not. Just yet. Waiting. I'm playing the game. Right? But I think that this is where I'm being pulled. And I'll tell you what was a catalyst, right? That is kind of catapulting me into this space of removing myself from the Matrix. I'm going to talk more about the Matrix 2 and what it really is in this video. But it catapulted me into removing myself from this Matrix. Breaking the code. Breaking away from this program. And living freely. Truly free. Now, you'll hear people saying, they don't want us to be free. They want to keep us psychologically enslaved and chained. Perhaps. Perhaps. But you are the only person that can free yourself. You don't have to. And it's a matter of just being bold, having the courage to step out on faith and knowing that you will be fine. I've always been fine, you know. I've done this before. That's when I say, I have lived, and I wrote that book at the age of 25, 13 years ago. Because I have already been here where I am now. I was already at the pinnacle, right? I had already attained a lot of success. I reached that point, right? I did it. I made it, right? And then I decided to walk away from it all. And people, of course, cast judgment. And they're just like, what is she doing? And pointing fingers. And because they're not living in my shoes. They don't see things from my perspective. So going back to what happened today, I am listening to my spirit, and I arrived to work when I did. And I like most people who are deeply spiritual and spiritually inclined, I already see this reality, and this what is happening and what's going to happen. I've already experienced it. I already have lived it. Already see it, right? So I know what's going to happen before it actually happens, right? That's why I can rest in such confidence. And for those who have been paying attention, you guys saw where I planted this tidbit in one of my most recent videos about what's happening, right, at my workplace, and how there is a shift, which I already spoke on, that there is a shift that's happening not just at my workplace, but just in the universe, right? In my sphere. And because I arrived to work when I did, it wasn't so much that, but I think it's something bigger than that, right? Because like I said, there's a lot of manipulation happening. People who don't have control over their own lives want to dictate and try to control someone else's life. And that's a no-go here. Like I already said, I'm willing to risk it all. I don't need any of this. And anything I speak, anything my mouth speaks, I can back it up, right? Any check that I write, my motherfucking ass can cash it. So with what I'm seeing, right, there are different things happen on different levels, right? On the surface and how it was written, right? It's like I was called out today and an email was sent, like I was reported, so to speak, right? To my supervisor, department head, which none of these titles mean anything to me, right? If you see things from my like, none of it means anything to me, right? But it means something to them in the hierarchy of things. And so a member of my team who has a title of treatment team leader just arbitrarily, impulsively, shall I say, and disrespectfully and considerately change the time that we have our daily rounds. It was originally scheduled for 9:30, which I thought was a reasonable time. No one had a problem with that. No one had an issue with that. But she had a problem with that. She's the only one who had a problem with that, mind you now. Everyone else, it was fine. She goes and changed the daily rounds to 8:30. Now, yes, we are scheduled to be there by 8 o'clock. But it doesn't, it's disrespectful, like I said. It's very inconsiderate to schedule something when a person steps foot in the door, right? To schedule an important meeting like that when we step, like, no, let us get settled in. Who does that, right? So given that I got there today, it was about 8:45, I don't know, 8:50, right? And by the time I walk in, I'm looking over there and I see that the team is meeting. Of course, they're meeting without me. And I'm like, okay. Not that I can't catch up. I can read the nursing report and see what was there, or what they discussed, because that's all what daily rounds is for anyways. Just reading what the nurses wrote, which is usually regurgitated information. So I get there and I peek over and they're like in the meeting and the psychiatrist waves at me and I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'm going to take care of myself and I'm headed to the back office to eat my breakfast. To my normal routine. Eat my breakfast, check the emails, prepare myself mentally and physically for the day. And then a psychiatrist comes in and he's like, oh, hey, Dr. Leach. I'm like, hi. Right? I greet him back and he asked me how I was doing. I'm like, I'm doing great. What do you expect? I'm doing great. And I'm like, you guys are finished? He's like, yeah, we're done. Now, that's the quickest I've ever seen rounds take place. The quickest, okay? So, I find that to be ironic that the day that I miss rounds, they're done in record-breaking time. Interesting enough, right? Less than, 20 minutes? Had to be. Less than 20 minutes. Interesting. So, I noticed that the treatment team leader, the culprit in this situation, but honestly, like I said, I have different ways of looking at it. There's more than one way to look at a thing, right? I can look at her as a culprit. I can also look at her as a Judas, right? And Judas actually served a purpose, to elevate, right? When you think of that in terms of metaphorically speaking. So it's just a stepping stone, right? That's why I can rest in peace and confidence knowing that I'm unbothered, to be honest. I think the idea is that I should be bothered, and I think that's the energy that's coming from that way, right? That, oh, I'm going to do this to you because then you need to be bothered, right? It's a control thing, but anybody know me know I cannot be controlled unless I give you that power, which is rare, unless you're my man, you know, unless you're my hubby or something. So she comes in and she didn't speak to me. I'm just like, okay, you know, I'm unbothered because life goes on. I see beyond all this external fleshly things, right? I'm a very deeply rooted spiritual person. I see beyond the bullshit, right? And because when I say I see beyond it, I'm like eon years ahead, okay? I'm here, but I'm so far ahead, right? So I knew from that energy, right, that she brought in, that she was upset, she's triggered, and she has to find a way to regain control. So she goes onto a computer and types out this email. And I'm laughing. I'm just like, I think it's hilarious. Why is this hilarious? I'm a different kind of person. It's hilarious because, of course, I'm a psychologist. I study people. I find it funny. I find human behavior very funny, yo, because it's so predictable. It's like, yo, it's so predictable. And when a person thinks they can manipulate and control me, I'm really turning the tables and manipulating and controlling them. Like, it means me nothing. Now, granted, yes, I'm drawn to that space, right? That particular clinical site because, yes, I do care about people, right? And I want to give back, and I have a skill set to do so, right? It goes without speaking, goes without saying. But at the same time, like, no, check yourself, right? People gotta check themselves. Sometimes the universe just checks them for me, right? I mean, it is what it is. So I laugh as like the keys, just banging on the keys. Because like I said, I just see things from a different reality, and the way I see it, I just find it funny. Life is funny, yo. Because it's so petty. That's the funny part about it. It's so petty. And at the end of the day, she gives me a copy, like a draft of the email that she's sending to them, right? Like, oh, can you look over this before I send it to make sure that it's correct? I don't really care. I mean, it's your perspective. So I can't say your perspective is wrong. That's your perspective, right? So I read it and I said, okay, like, what do you want me to say, right? Now I'm gonna go back to the actual meeting because she actually wanted to meet with me, like, in person. She was like, "Can I talk to you for a minute, Dr. Leach? You have a second?" This was after I did my 10 o'clock a.m. group. So I'm like, all right. The group ended like 11:30 because I ended up going a little bit longer because they wanted to. And I sometimes do that. Like when the guys, they like attention and they like to engage, and I feel like the energy is flowing in the group, I'll extend it, even though it's only supposed to be an hour. I'd be doing marathon groups sometimes. So we went to like 11:30, 11:37-ish, I would say. And then I came in the office, and then there she goes, like, "Oh, can I talk to you?" I laugh. It's like I'm laughing inside because it's like this is so predictable. Like anybody, if y'all can read between the lines, you see that this is happening on purpose, right? Everything I do is very intentional. Everything is intentional, yo. So all of this is laid out, premeditated, preordained, predestined. So I am the master of my life. I'm the author of my life. I'm the captain of my ship. So of course, like, this is my ship, yo. So the players in it, the way things are playing out, I am in control. Clearly, this is happening the way I want it to happen. That's why I laugh, because it's funny to me, right? This is a whole enactment, as they would say in clinical terms, that I am constructing. Okay? So, because I like to test people. I mean, that's just my nature. It's no surprise that I decided to become a psychologist and I landed here. I'm a researcher. I like to experiment. I like to test. I like to see, how do people react. I'll throw things out there. I'll do things. I just want to see. I'm curious. It may sound crazy, but yes, I'm curious to see. So, in the meeting, of course, she's like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, you're trying to analyze me. You're trying to analyze the analyst. Interesting. She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm okay. Let's talk about you, though. Are you okay, right? She was like, "Well, I see that, you have been coming in late, and it seems like a new occurrence that you weren't coming in late before, but recently you've been coming in late." I'm like, no, there are times I have come in late before, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. Why? Because it's not impacting anyone. So for her to gain control over the situation, right? And my lateness, she moved the time of the daily round. She didn't have to move it, but she's making up an excuse for why she's moving it. We've operated this way. We're talking about 6 months since I've been there, since December. We've had rounds at 9:30. All of a sudden, you want to move rounds. Think about that now, right? So she's making up an excuse saying, "Oh, because I have other things to do in the department," and very vague response, right? It's bullshit. Like, when you see bullshit, you call bullshit, right? Because you know it's bullshit. It's just, come on. It's not about that. It's not about what she put in the email. And of course, the conversation we had, she put the same in the email, saying, "Oh, well, she had to move it." I'm like, are they aware? Right? We're going to get to that part. And we had a whole discussion about what she wrote. Like, this whole big to do. I feel like this is taking away precious time of my day that I can be working on something more productive than this bullshit, right? But when people are needy, such as herself, when they have lacked attention at home, they do things like this. Growing up, I mean, she already mentioned that she grew up and she didn't feel like she had attention in as a child, right? And it's clear, you can tell just how she acts. It's very immature. Um, how she got that position, I don't know, but she's definitely not mature enough, I think, for that particular role, and I doubt she's going to be in that role too much longer, because it's not going well. She's not going to have a team. Right? She covers 2 wars. She's not going to have a team the way she runs things, but that's her business. I don't care, because I'm not going to be there to witness the fucking downfall of that shit. But I mean, it's already crumbling, but I'm not going to be there to witness the fucking devastation when it's all said and done. I can guarantee you. Right? I see it. I don't think that's sad though. A person doesn't see it. But anyway, because there's just self-sabotaging. So when you self-sabotage, you don't see. But anyway, so she's like, "Well, yeah," so we kind of get into this back and forth. She's saying her side, I'm saying my perspective. Of course, I'm standing firm because I know me and I know what I came to do there. I don't play any games, yo. Who in their right mind invests so much money? You know how much a freaking PhD costs? Who does that? I'm not just monetary value, right? We're talking about blood, sweat, and tears. I'm not here to play. I don't know about you. I'm not here to play, right? But there are people who have not invested as much time and energy towards such accomplishment or credential that they want to play around with your shit, right? They don't respect the energy, the time that you put towards it. They just don't. It's clear that she doesn't respect it. She doesn't, because if she did, she will respect it, clearly, right? She does not respect that, let alone respect the holder of such credential, you know? And this is nothing new to me, right? Like, I'm 38 years old. I live in America, born and raised. So, it's nothing new. She's a white woman. Or should I say pilgrim? I don't even think that people of that race, so to speak, deserve to even have the title of white, because that's just giving them too much honor. But she's not melanated, shall I say, right? And it's clear as day. And so, like I said, there was this like back and forth. You know, she's like, "Oh, I see there's resistance." Like, who are you talking to? I'm not a patient. See, they use that approach with the patients. Oh, you're resisting. Motherfucker, I'm a grown ass woman. It's not resistance. It's a power struggle. And I'm not beholden to you for you to say, "Oh, it's resistance. You're resisting." Like, I'm supposed to be and agree. I don't have to agree with you. In fact, I'm gonna purposely not agree with your ass, right? Because I have my stance. And this is not about lateness. See, people who truly study behavior can see that it's never what it is on the surface, right? So she goes after the meeting and banging on the keyboard, typing the email to my supervisor, to her supervisor, like to the chief of service and all of that, saying what was discussed, right? In this meeting, which it really wasn't a discussion. It was her trying to impose her perceived degree of control over me, in which that's what I was resisting. Like I said, it's never about what appears on the surface. So she's making it about, oh, the lateness. No, it's really about the power dynamic. Take away the power dynamic and we wouldn't have any issues. But because she has a need to exert her power, or her lack of power, when you think about it, because people who are control freaks really lack a sense of control over their own life. I mean, it's clear, and she mentioned it. You know, she's OCD. She has trouble sleeping at night. She eats tirelessly, just impulsively, right? That's her freaking way of coping with life, is eating, and it's clear based on her physicality. So yeah, she lacks control. She even said, she got a whole tub of fucking ice cream. She eat the whole fucking shit in an hour. So it's clear that she got her own issues, psychological issues that she needs to address. And if she really works on those, then she would not have as many problems as she has interpersonally, relating to her teammates, right? And with that, she, of course, has a title as treatment team leader. And so for people who are not used to being in control or lack a sense of control, they abuse it. When they do get it, they abuse it, and she's clearly abusing it. I mean, it's no surprise, how you lose 2 social workers at the same damn time, that's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. There's a problem. She's a common denominator. So, they're going to lose me. And I'm like, it is what it is. I want to see how this plays out. So, it tickles me, right, as I think about this. And I'm experiencing this because it's kind of like a movie. So, in the email, of course, she's saying, oh, Danielle has been laid and and her lateness is a new occurrence, and she missed daily rounds. And I asked her, what was that about? And da da da. She says because she worked the late shift and she thinks it's an inconvenience that I reschedule the daily rounds, and she's saying all this bullshit, right? But what gets me is at the end, this is where the manipulation comes in. I told her that if, she continues to be late, then she may face consequences. This is the exciting part because I want to see what those consequences are. I do. I'm with the shits, my nigga. I'm with the shits. I really do want to see what those consequences will be. And it's not so much seeing what the consequences will be, because she makes like this passive threat, and this is passive aggressive, which she already admitted that that's just her temperament. She likes to do passive aggressive shit. Because we have a patient, and then he's kind of passive aggressive. She was like, "Oh, I like that. I identify with that," right? I mean, what she failed to realize is, I do this. So I'm documenting and keeping a note of everything that she said that is going to be used against her. Because you got the right one. Oh, you got the right one. That's why I'm like, okay, I'm with the shit. I want to see what's going to happen. I'm not done yet, you guys. So, with her making a passive aggressive threat, saying, "Oh, well, what would you do, or what did you do at your other clinical sites? You had patients, you had clients that you saw. What did you do? Was you running late to their appointments?" Absolutely no. And you know why? Because the site where I worked had enough respect for its clinicians to allow us to schedule when we see patients, to create our own schedule, right? And yes, I had a set time that I was expected to come in, right? So she was like, "Oh, well, you work," because I told her that my first appointment with my patient at my other site was 11. It was 11, right? And I may have one at 3. So she was like, "Oh, what time you work? 11?" I said, "No, I work from, I think I got there like 9 o'clock. It would vary, But there was a window. It wasn't like a hard set time, like, "Oh, you got to be here at 9 o'clock. And if you here at 9:10, or you here at 9:30 or 9:40, then we're going to..." It was never like that, okay? They have enough dignity and respect for clinicians, especially at this level, to entrust us to just handle our business as long as we did the job. We were assigned evaluations, so of course there were a long list of clients on the waiting list to be evaluated. And when we started, they asked us, what slots would you want for X number of evaluations, right? That we would like for you to do. It wasn't like, "Oh, you got to do this. You got..." No. None of that, right? So that's the approach they take. I get it, because this is a lockdown facility, and that's how they treat the patients. But I'm not a patient. You're not going to be, "Oh, you need to do this." No, buddy. Cut the bullshit, okay? I got way too much intellect for that. And so it was never like that. Yes, like I said, they had like a set, schedule. I think it was what time? 9 to 5? 9 or something like that. But not even, right? Pretty much how it went. You get there when you get there. As long as you make your appointments. And I said my slots for evals I chose this, right? 11 and 3. And if you finish your eval, or there's a no-show, or the client canceled, then you leave, right? It wasn't, and of course, I'm being paid for the hours that, I'm paid. So it was never like that. So she was like, "Oh, yeah, oh." You got shit fucked up. And I know she's new in her role as a TTL, but no, baby, you don't work like that. And she comes, it's not just with me, but she has this approach working with psychiatry. You're talking about people who are making well over 6 figures, Medical doctor, you don't, I hate to say it, but you're a social worker. You don't come at people, professionals like this, like well-credentialed professionals like, nah, man, come on now. You gotta have a degree of decorum and respect. But yeah, it's about manipulation and control for her. And so I said, and she was like, oh, like wondering like what time I would get there. It's like, I got there, that's how it went. I got there when I got there. It's much different. So she's like, oh, it's like she's just trying to go get in this power struggle. She couldn't really combat what I'm saying. So she was like, oh, so what happened? What you think, what happened, or what happened if you are late? I say nothing happened. Nothing happened if I've been late. Yeah, it ain't about being late. You get there when you get late. What the hell? Even when I worked in the prison in California, it's not even they don't treat us like that. Yo, because I did my work. I did my work. It was not about a power struggle. They didn't even create an environment where we felt like it had to be this power struggle thing. It wasn't that. So when you create a space that a person feels safe to work in, they're gonna work. I banged out a bunch of freaking psych evals, and I counted at the end of the year 150 psych evals in 1 year. I was averaging 4 to 5 a week, banging them joints out, yo. And on top of that, I had a caseload of psychotherapy patients, right? So when you let a person who is driven, I'm already driven. You don't have to, it's overkill if you're trying to micromanage and dictate and control when you already working with a person who, we achieve the highest degree that you can get. You're talking about PhDs, MDs, right? We already on top of it. We already goal driven. So to go and try to overstep that and act like you want to control it, we already been through the rigor. You know what I'm saying? Like, we already been and tried and tested and proven. So, what is your role? What are you doing? Sit your ass down and just let us do our job. Let us work. Let us show up how we show up. And watch and sit back and see. Like, yo, we bring skill. We already been through that. What are you doing? So I find that very funny. So then she made the statement, well, what do you think will happen if you continue to show up late? I'm like, what do you expect? I don't expect nothing. I said, whatever you're trying to insinuate, I don't know what you're trying to insinuate, but what is there to expect? I mean, just say what you gotta say and do what y'all gotta do. So I think, yeah, it's just like I said, manipulation. And for her to say, oh, well, if I continue to show up late, she's put this in the same email, if I continue to show up late, there may be consequences. I was like, oh, that maybe shit, like, don't play games, right? Maybe consequences. Like, do what you got to do. I told her, I say, it was no issue. You created the problem, right? It was no issue when the rounds was 9:30. She moved rounds to fucking the break of the damn work day, right? Soon as you step on the dang on floor, we in a meeting, you expect us to be there. To my, oh, if you don't show up or you late, then it's gonna be consequence. I'm gonna report you. Like, I would rather leave that toxicity right where it's at, because at this point, the benefits do not outweigh the cost. They just don't. And like, you're making the job, the position less appealing, right? You're making it less desirable. Maybe that's her goal, because she want to just be on the team by herself, right? But you're not making it where I would like to stay. And I've already expressed that, I'm definitely weighing in the direction of leaving in December. And then the department head for psychology was like, well, we're going to try to see what I can do to keep you here. But with this shit happening, you can forget about it, Like, the decision is already made, and even on top of that, I'm definitely in a space where I do want to see what's going to happen. Because I told her, I said, I cannot guarantee I'm going to be there on time. It don't work. We don't live in a perfect world. It's not an ideal world. It don't happen that way. It's not going to happen that way. I'm not stressing myself out, right, to try to get there. And I said to her, I may have an intention to get there a little bit early, to eat my breakfast. But nah, man. See, that's part of non-self-care when I think about it. Even though I said that to her, and she put that in the email saying, oh, well, she said that she's willing to try and have an intention to get here early so she can have her breakfast and be able to make the 8:30 meeting. Fuck that. I look at that as non-self-care. Because I have to get my full good 7-8 hours of sleep. No. I'm not breaking my neck to get there no goddamn 7:45. No, and then especially we're talking about I do my job well, and she gonna say, oh well, I have to admit, like you do your job good, like you're pretty good at what you do. Haven't had nothing but compliments to say about you, but it's just the late. Like no, you're nitpicking, you're being petty, and to me, that is like one of the four horsemen of divorce. Right? You look at Gottman theory. That's one of the four horsemen. When a person start being real picky about the little small shit, that's small. How is it small? It may sound like it's big because it's daily rounds, but no. It's small because there have been other people who have missed rounds. The social worker who left on our ward, his ass used to be fucking not coming around, right? Late to work. But all of a sudden, when the shoe is on my foot, and I show up late one day, she quick to goddamn report it. That's what she want to do anyway, right? So that's where I'm feeling like, I'm laughing inside because sometimes you just gotta test people. The universe will help you test to see what kind of blood. Is she good blood or not? Nah, she not, right? I figured it anyway, but you like to just see confirmation to see like, yeah. Prove my point, and it's clear that racism is at play. It's clear that her being petty is at play. Her being a Karen is at play, and she can go ahead and do it because I'm good either way, and I'm definitely curious to see what is gonna happen. I'm even more excited. That's why I'm feeling. I'm feeling so good. When I was like leaving and I was headed to the theater in Brooklyn today, I just had like this sense of calm come over me, and I just felt so good. I can't even explain it. I felt like, damn, I love myself. I put myself first, right? Because I know I dot my I's and cross my T's. I do my work to perfection. Damn near, I'm on top of it. I'm dedicated. And you try to find the little smallest thing because you create the problem, right? It was no issue, but she created this problem, right? I'm late. I'm missing rounds because she wanted to manipulate shit. So, yeah, I'm with it. And I'm probably won't be going to work on Monday. We'll see. Probably won't go to work on Tuesday. We'll see. Because I feel like if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? And she goes trying to create problems and fix things that ain't broken. Making up excuses, trying to lie and say she's doing it because she needs to be at a certain place. It's bullshit. That's all fucking bullshit. She ain't got nothing else better to do. So now she's going to have more responsibilities on her plate because I am not going to be there too much longer. So the work that I'm doing, somebody gonna have to do it. Well, maybe they're gonna split it with the psych department. But either way, that's just, it's gonna fall back on her. And I just feel like, who wants to operate in that degree of toxicity, that dysfunctionality? That's crazy. But I guess they like it, so they can have it. They don't want me there, then that's fine. Because I do my job and I genuinely do care about those guys there, who are mostly black. And I see that they don't give a damn. And I've already started speaking out about that. They don't really give a damn about those goddamn. I really feel bad for them. Because when I leave, it's just like, shit really gonna go down here. And they really don't care. Those guys gonna have it handed to their ass, When your life is in the hands of people who genuinely don't give a fuck. And she gonna say, I noticed when you came here, a lot changed. Like, the guys were more active and they were more up and out and about, and They seem to be like getting, becoming more healthier, and on track. But she said before I started, like they were more lethargic and just in their rooms and sleeping a lot, more depressed essentially. But listen, it is what it is. Like, hey, it is what it is. Yeah, I feel like my energy is very precious, and I'm sharing this story with you guys because it is definitely a learning lesson. You value yourself, take care of yourself, and if recognize like your energy is precious, and don't be expending that shit in places and environments, professional or personal, that is not deserving of your energy. That's just what it boils down to. And that goes into the idea and the action that is taking place of unplugging from the matrix. Now, people think of the matrix as a physical place, right? A geographical place, and they correlate it to like America, right? A lot of people are leaving America and moving out into the tropics. They call it the Tropic of Cancer, between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of the Capricorn, and yeah, that's good, right? So that you can have direct access to the sun and more sunbeam, right? Touching your melanin skin. But the matrix is really a mindset. And like I said, I was really inspired by this film that I saw at the BAM tonight. It's Afrofuturistic film. Because it's aligned with where I'm at in my life, and this movement, this pull to really elevate yourself. And one of the lines that stood out, many lines was in the film that stood out, but one of the things they said was that we are technology. People look outside of themselves and worship technology, right? iPhone, smart technology, and all this bullshit. And you worship it like it's God, and you're trying to keep up with the latest trends. And we are the technology. Human beings, we are all we need. We can get back to that. We can tap into our true greatness, our true wealth. Wake the fuck up. Chasing a dollar, fuck that. Right? Chasing this ideal, the American dream, fuck that shit. That's where I'm at. And I've been there. It's a funny thing, this is not new. Some people wake up, they be in their 30s, they wake up. I've been woke. I've always been woke since I was a little girl. I've always had the spirit, It's a constant struggle. It's an internal battle and external battle between who I am and this world that I've been planted in, But I've been this fucking way. I tell you, I've always been Danielle. I've been this way. Just have my own mind. I always ask questions. And just been to myself as a little girl, isolated, reading books, elevating myself, just different, unplugged from the matrix, right? This mindset. Just thinking different than most people. I've been that way. My family couldn't understand my ass. My sister said that I was adopted child. She used to tell me that, like, girl, you adopted. I'm not adopted. I have 2 biological parents that raised me. But she said that because I was just so different as a child growing up. I was woke way back then. Been woke, But smart too. I always like, learning and going to school. So I did that. I love school. Right? So that's what drew me in the direction of academia and going to school, getting a higher education, all that, and degrees. Got fucking countless degrees. I'm about to end this video, but I got countless fucking degrees. And here I am, back to where I was. Back to myself. It's like part of me being pulled away from myself and integrating into this system, getting these degrees and success and credentials, and part of me is just like, fuck that shit. Nah. I'm bigger than a fucking degree. I'm bigger than that. And I don't need it. And and it's confirmation. I'm not fighting. I'm not fighting for a freaking job. I'm not. You got fired. I'm gonna be fired or might quit. Whichever one comes first. But I did think though that that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So maybe I can let them fire me. That's a lawsuit. Because that's really, it's clear as laid out. I got all the evidence, show. Like I said, I document everything. I'm a good documenter. Clearly. I take notes, my nigga. I keep track of everything. And that's definitely racial discrimination. To fire me. If you're going to fire me, you got to fire everybody else. Right? They're not going to fire me. Because they don't have the grounds to. They can. I mean, I'm at a point, what I'm saying is, I don't care. I truly, and not caring is a good thing. They try to make it sound like, oh, well, you don't care. No. Not caring is a good thing. I am not in the space that you guys are in. You know, a lot of y'all holding on tight to your motherfucking 9 to 5. Do it look like I've ever been that person, right? Like I said, yes, I value education. I value giving back. But you don't need to work a 9 to 5 to give back. I'm not worried about coins. You say I'm my coin. It's not even about that. It's about trusting the universe. I've always done that, and I've always been straight. A lot of y'all don't operate in that realm, though. So, yeah, you're going to be stuck, and you're actually doing yourself a disservice, right? But you're kind of stuck in this matrix. That's how you get stuck in it. And this rat race, and you're never really elevating. You got to, to really succeed, you got to pull yourself and have the confidence to pull your mind out from that. You have many examples of people who've done it, and you look up to these people. For example, Dr. Umar Johnson. You look up to these people. He's not the only one, though. But stepping out, knowing that, yo, if you're concerned about, I mean, of course, people are going to be concerned about how you're going to take care of yourself, right? But you shouldn't be. And having confidence knowing that anything you need, you good, you're taken care of. You have to step out on that. If you never stepped out on that, then you will never know. But, you know, I'm not here to preach on that. I'm just here to share my experience. I'm not here to convince anybody, right? Because if you don't have that, if you're not in a position to be confident, right? If you don't have that calling, if you don't have that birthright, a lot of y'all don't have that birthright. So, yeah, you bound to work a fucking 9 to 5. Never been me. And I'm good. He's talking about, that's why you and Doc Sink. He said, fuck the system after you get... Exactly. You don't need it. Like, you vibrating. You know, some of y'all don't be vibrating. Y'all be listening to me and watching me, but you're not... So there's no point in listening to me and watching me if you're not vibrating. But you really have to be vibrating to really get where I'm coming from. That you don't. He saw that and he acted on that. So a lot of people see it, right? And they scared. You're like, oh, shit. Because that's their cushion. And that 9 to 5, that little bit of money they're getting... which may seem like a lot of money, but it's so much more money out there to be made, right? And you see he's making probably 10 times more money. 10 times more money. He got money coming in from different places, and he's free. He's free to travel, right? Within the nation and outside of America, yo. Like, he's, limitless. So... you have to open up your mind, and sometimes it takes these experiences to kind of catapult you, like I said, into the place where you're supposed to be. And for me, it's been this constant tug of war. Like, I feel like I'm being pulled this way, being pulled. I'm just like, you know what? Fuck that. If that's the response that they're giving me, in terms of, oh, there may be consequences, then you're clearly saying that I don't need to be there. It's not about, like I said, it's not about the surface level stuff that she put in the email or that we discussed today. It's not about that. That's bullshit. This is a person that come and lay her damn self. This is a person that, she's like, oh, well, can you just text me and let me know that you're going to be late? No, I can't. You don't text me when you're going to be late. Somebody, yes or no, you don't. You don't text me. So why should I text you? It go both ways. You don't. She look at it like, oh, I don't have to. I know that's what she wanted to say. She didn't say it, but I know that's what she wanted to say, as if like she's I'm on a higher. I don't see the hierarchy shit, right? I have respect to where respect is due, as long as you're respecting me. It goes both ways. When I see that you sidestepping and acting like you don't give a fuck, why should I care? I'm not giving to you respect if you disrespecting me. And that was clearly disrespectful for her to sit up here and reschedule rounds without the consent of the team. You have a psychologist on the team, you have a psychiatrist, you have a social worker, and you going out just doing shit. Like, and then the funny thing is passive aggressive because she made it seem as though she cares. Like, oh, I'm gonna ask y'all, is this okay if I move the time? But then we telling you, no, it doesn't work, and you still do it. You don't give a fuck. And then try to justify it. I don't have time. It's a waste. That's draining. This valuable energy that is being wasted in that environment can be devoted towards building something very spectacular, right? Very magnificent. Like, I'm wasting my time. Yes, I'm on a mission, and yes, I was working towards gaining my hours for licensure, and I'm halfway done. But you know what? I can pick that up somewhere else. If that's the path that I need to go down. I ain't got time for that bullshit. Exactly. And I mean, it's expected. With my personality, I'm revolutionary, my nigga. I am different, okay? I can only play that shit for so long. Right? And I've done a good job at playing it and holding it together and all that bullshit. My mom gonna tell me, oh, Danielle, just do what they tell you. Fuck that. I do what I need to do, right? But I'm not kissing no ass. And that's where you bump heads. I'm not kissing no ass. And if I see bullshit, I'm gonna call bullshit. That's bullshit what she's doing. Everybody else wanna agree, and even the psychiatrist, his ass came there on time. He got there before I did. I said, oh, you beat me. Because, even though we had a conversation, I was talking to the psychiatrist, and I was like, oh, is what she's saying, that she's gonna report you to your supervisor if you show up late, because his ass been late. He the one that really been late a whole bunch of times. He motherfucker always late, because he coming from Brooklyn and shit. I come from Manhattan, and it's just like his ass been late, and she's like, I had told him to tell him that she said that she was gonna report him, and he was like, oh, we're about to look for another job, and then his ass gonna show up on time today. I'm just like, look at this motherfucker. It folded. And then I'm in the theater sitting here watching the movie. He gonna send me a text talking about something. Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Nah, dog. Y'all not gonna run game on me. It ain't going down like that. And I'm with the shits. See, them motherfuckers don't know me like that. I don't care. I've been in a position where I've had everything and I walked away from it all. I have. Where I had down to nothing, literally. And I felt good. I felt free. It was a weird situation because, like, of course, people on the outside judge your family like, oh well. I felt very free to walk away from it all. And I say I had it. I had everything. And so I'm back at that. Like, I'm about to walk away from this shit. I'm not fighting for no damn 9 to 5. One can say, oh, no, you work so hard, you almost done your hours, just stick it out. Nah. Because I feel like you give a person an inch, they take them out, and that's not what's going to happen. You're not going to sit up here and try to take advantage, and that's exactly what's happening. I had the same conversation with one of my supervisors. She was like, well, I get what you're saying, because you put on this work and you're being taken advantage of. You goddamn right. It's like they never stop. I provided coverage for this one psychologist who went on leave because her mom died. She was off for 2 goddamn months, and I provided coverage. The understanding was when she came back, I was gonna be relieved. They gave me more fucking coverage to do. I'm like, what happened to the agreement? They got me working on a goddamn COVID ward, and they claim that, oh, well, the state said they're gonna send you $2,500 in a check. I'm about to end this video because it's 5%. But some of the state said they're gonna send you $2,500 for hazard pay because you worked on a COVID. Well, them motherfuckers ain't saying shit. I'm not begging these motherfuckers. I'm not saying, telling them what they should. No, we grown as people. Y'all know what y'all should do. I feel like I'm not going to sit up here and be talking. I may express myself one time. I'm gonna keep it moving. Nah, I don't have time for that shit, man. No. So yeah, I feel good. I feel good to just walk away from it all, and that's what I'm about to do. And it is what it is, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen. You know, it's not that I'm intentionally coming in late, but I'm being very intentional about taking care of myself first. So that means that, okay, may end up motherfucking coming in 20, 30 minutes late. So be it. I'm gonna make sure I'm taken care of. In the morning, I take a shit. So I'm not going to work if I ain't shitted. You know what I'm saying? You can't force your goddamn shit to come out your ass. Do y'all want to know all the details? Like, goddamn, I'm gonna sit my ass down and I'm gonna just let nature take its course. And if it take longer, then it take. If I'm late, I'm late. Like, what the fuck? That we should not have anything scheduled within the first whatever hour and a half of us getting there. No, it was fine when it was at 9:30. So she rigid and she don't want to move it. Then oh well, it is what it is. I said my piece, and I'm glad that that happened because it's confirmation. Like, it's time. It's fucking time to shift. Where I have an idea as to like what's the next step, yo. I feel like, yo, it's time, yo. It's time to catapult my ass into this next phase and leave that shit behind. Leave the idea of what I was like trying to grasp, like leave that shit behind, my nigga. For real. And just keep it moving. So tomorrow I'm gonna do my spiritual bath. You guys saw where I came live and I showed you guys the ingredients I purchased from this healer, this shaman on what street is that? I forget, but it's in Harlem. She has this mobile van, and she sells like all these like healing things. So I got like this. Forgive me, guys, it's late, so my brain is shutting down. But I got like this spiritual bath kit, and so I'm gonna use it tomorrow. I know I was thinking that I was going to actually rent like a suite with a spa tub, which I can still do. But then I thought about it and I say, I don't know how clean that, even though I can clean it myself, but it's not like using your own in your own space that you are in every day versus like that's going to take away, I think, from like the sacredness of it if I'm doing it like in a public hot tub, like even if it's in a private suite in a hotel room, like nah. So I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna clean my bath room and do it here tomorrow, and I might go live before and after, so you guys can check that out. I'm looking forward to doing that. But yeah, we'll see how this shit go. It can go either way, right? In terms of seeing how it go, it can go where they bought it. Oh, they want to be bought it. And say, all right, yeah, we're going to let her ass go. And they know damn well, yo, I'm a hot commodity. I know what the fuck I bring. I'm a hot ass commodity in that shit. And they want to be petty and want to be manipulative and controlling and petty differences. Let my ass go. All right. That's a poor decision. They probably maybe it's right because that's how I look at it. It's the right thing that need to happen in my life at this point in time so that I can move forward. Because if that shit don't happen, that's just like, yo, everything that's happened to me, every like struggle phase, it pushed me higher. Okay? Go and read my book, American Dream, when it come out. But it goes to show, I just keep rising even through the struggle phase when things seem like things are going bad in my life. Other side of that is like, yo, I get fucking jolted up even higher. It's just like, damn. So I've learned to just trust the universe, trust my instincts, and go with the flow and relax. And you know, sense in be stressing out and worry about nothing. But it can go the other way where it's like they don't do nothing, and they just let me come in late, and I'll be like, damn. I think I'll be more disappointed if it goes that way because it's boring that way. It's just like, what the fuck? I'm kind of like want some excitement. Like I want this shit to turn the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of do because I want to see like, yo, is they really true? Are they about it? You know? Which part of me think, okay, they might let me go. Okay, they about it, and that shit would be interesting because I'm like, okay, now it's like, yeah. Things gonna be different. Shit gonna be real, and yeah, it's just I'm looking forward to that period. And of course, I can wait. I can wait for that to happen when I finish my hours, but that's not fun, right? That don't make for good storytelling. My life is just not that cut and dry. Yo, shit gotta be lit. So yeah, I can see it happening the other way. So we'll see. I'll come back and let you guys know. Feel free to share your comments below and let me know what y'all think. What y'all think gonna happen, or what y'all think I should do. I mean, you can share your perspective, but that don't mean I'm gonna do it. The spirit of me won't let me. It's just not. And ironically, my mom called me today, even though I did reach out to her yesterday. I sent her some money, but I was like, yo, she called me while I'm in the freaking. Interesting that she called me today. And my dad called me yesterday. I'm just like, damn, they know. My mom, she's like, yo, she's psychic. So the parents be knowing when something ain't right. Because I spoke to both my mom and my dad yesterday. My dad called me yesterday, and that made me call my mom. And my mom called me today, just right like out of blue. I'm like, yeah. Sounds like they're trying to bully. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I don't care. They can have that shit. They had that piece of shit. That's all they can. They can have that. Like I said, I like the work that I do. And I like the relationship that I've established with the patients there and some of the staff. But in terms of the environment and what they trying to manipulate and control and create, you can have that. Yo, there's so much more out here. I'm not worried. You can have that shit. Because it ain't going down like that. And like I said, Monday, yeah, I think I probably won't go in just because. I gotta take the whole goddamn week off, you know. I have a point to prove. And it's just not even me proving a point, it's the universe showing. What's ordained is ordained, and I'm obedient to the direction of spirit. And spirit is telling me, don't back down. Be fair, that's me, that's just my spirit. But I gotta end this video because I'm like at 2%. Catch you guys later. Yes, honey, yes. Alright, I'm trying to end it. Damn, we don't want to end. Look at that. What happened? It don't want to end, I think, because my phone probably dying. That's what it is. So...